All right, welcome back to another Japan Book Hunter, the manga show. This is another special episode because today we're going to look at the newest release of Otomo The Complete Works. This time we have Volume 1, Jusei, and Volume 5, Fireball. I've been waiting for this for so long. Ever since this run started, I've been waiting for Jusei to come out because I've never seen it in the wild in tankobon form. Very hard to get, and it's a collection of his earliest one-shots that he released in various manga magazines and publications. To be honest, I'm lagging a little bit. I usually pick these up a couple days early, like 1 to 2 days before the release date, because I know where to find them. But there's been so many delays with the Complete Works series that these were delayed as well. I wasn't checking in with the site. You got to keep on checking in on the site. The site is otomo-complete.com. And these came out on the 21st of July, 2023, which was 3 days ago now. I happen to be doing my weekly manga magazine run at the bookstore. I go every week and just pick up some, first appearances, some stuff that people collect, stuff for customers, stuff for myself. And I looked down and booyaka, there they were, just sitting there. I couldn't believe my eyes. And should have got you this video a little bit sooner, but let's take a look at them. So yesterday I had some time to flip through both of these. I resealed them. As I say every time, keep the plastic packaging because these covers scratch easily. And if you want to keep them in pristine condition, someone else made a good point, which I mentioned in the last video, which was that because of these edges here, if you stand them upright, they start to collapse on the bottoms and they start to bend and stuff. So it's good to store these flat if you want to keep them looking nice and crispy. Jusei, Gun Report in English. This was 2,900 yen plus tax, 3,190 yen. And then we have Fireball here, which was the same price. So these are much cheaper than the animation series for Akira that were released in the last run, which were around 7,000 some odd yen, something like that. I think we have 12 stories in this one and 11 in this one. We'll take a look at them individually. Again, this is just a first look. This isn't a, detailed breakdown. If you want all the art aspects of it, hit Cartoonist Kayfabe because I know they're going to be talking about these as soon as they get these filthy things in their hands over in the States. But until then, the best I can do is just a little quick flip through for you, show you what they look like. I like the cover design. I like the color. Of course, the size. I mean, compared to any regular tankobon. Jusei, Gun Report, meaning Ju means gun, Sei means sound. So this is Gun Report as in the sound, not as in a report that you have to write for your teacher at school. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stories and the afterword. And our feature story, Jusei, 135 here. It's amazing. A couple things to point out. Early Otomo, a lot less dialogue than in his later works. So, of course, we do have chunks of dialogue, but we also have like a lot of empty space. And as you see, as we flip through this bad boy, there's a lot of panels with just the art, just a visual story, not a lot of dialogue or internal dialogue or narration going on. And you can see his amazing perspective. That's a signature of Otomo, even in these early works. And I want to say These are going to be all late 70s. There should be something in the back here. You know, they don't always do it, but sometimes in the back they'll have the dates of each story. And we don't have that in this one. Sorry, I should have checked that before. But yeah, all basically late 70s. When you get into Fireball, you're more early 80s. But despite a lot of the empty space, you do see all the line work that Otomo's famous for, just lines upon lines upon lines. But again, if you compare this to any of his later works, you look at the architecture of Domu or Akira, then the landscapes of Kibun, then there's not as much going on in these, but that's the charm, man. That's the charm. That was a dark story. I'm not going to break down the stories for you because, again, I'll let you enjoy those on your own. You know, a lot of people these days, they use Google Lens, kind of go over the Japanese so they can get a gist of what the story is, which is fine. Or you can just appreciate the artwork for what it is, which is amazing. Miyaya, the famous Gekiga artist from the 60s and 70s, was a big inspiration. RIP, he died 2 years ago, for Otomo. And Otomo based a lot of his realism off of Miyaya, who I am also a big collector of. And you can really see it in these early works of Otomo. But yeah, if you look at some of the stuff, like, I mean, look at that. Look at that brickwork. Amazing. Let's count how many times I say amazing in this episode as well. Shall you have a drink every time I say amazing? I mean, Akira, very Japan centric, Neo Tokyo, but a lot of his earlier works, based on fairy tales, you have that Hansel and Gretel, you know, all those fairy tale remakes. These are very Western influenced, whether it's location, character design, and or architecture. Here we have Jusei. This is our title story, which is this is the only story out of this that I read because I always wanted to read it and I never had access to it. Lots of heavy themes. And again, these are all, here we have the tickets. You collect them all, you get a prize. I will have all of these and I'll be probably around $1,200 lighter in the pocket when it's all said and done. And who knows when it'll be all said and done. I'm thinking 2.5 more years of these releases. It really is Otomo's swan song. We're not going to get anything new from him. I mean, like at this point, yeah, maybe he'll try his hand at like assistant directing or production advisor or something for like an anime or a movie or something, but we're not going to see the art that we saw from him in the 80s and 90s. See, there we go. That's what I'm talking about right there. That is raw, early Otomo, which will later become Akira and Domu. It's so great at faces and expressions. And this is all the reference stuff in the back. So and that, my fine friends, is Jusei. Let's take a little break for a second while I cool off, and we will take a look at Fireball. All right, let's take a look at Otomo The Complete Works 5, Fireball. Of course, this is the famous MC Escher kind of like take by Otomo. Of course, the robot hand and the robot in the background and all this stuff. You know, for someone who's such a hardcore Otomo collector as myself, you would think I know more about like all of the releases, but there's been, you know, quite a few releases over the years. And Fireball was never released as a tankobon. And now that I think about it, Jusei Gun Report wasn't either, I think. I think it was just only one-shots in magazines. But again, like, there's just so much stuff out there. And, you know, there's Akira super fans, Otomo super fans, you know, like hardcore collectors that know way more than I know about Otomo Katsuhiro. But I know my fair share. And again, this is just we're just doing a little flip through here. Let's take a look at it. Print quality is better than most tankobon, so that's a bonus. But you're paying a bit more too than a normal tankobon, so probably around triple the price. I believe there's 12 stories in here. Little hostess bar action. I mean, everything was getting so lively by the, you know, the late 70s, and then you get into the early 80s, and then before you know it, there's the bubble boom, right? But a lot of these stories are pre-Japan bubble. So that's why there's a bit of a darker side to them. A lot of the, I don't want to say underbelly, I want to say the outcasts of society, the underprivileged. Stories about people that were struggling. Probably much the same way that, you know, Otomo struggled in his early career. These color pages are sick, so we're going to see some color in Fireball that we don't see in Jusei or in Domu. The Complete Works versions, of course. And of course, the tankobon as well. There's no color in those. Yeah, looking familiar there. I've mentioned this before in posts, but little known fact. Guillermo del Toro owns the rights to Domu as a film. At one point, David Lynch owned the rights. There is a soundtrack that has been made for a symphonic soundtrack for the movie, but the movie was never made. So if we're lucky, one day Del Toro will do the right thing and give us the Domu that we all deserve. Ah, that poor frog. Ah, kawaiso. Again, very, very fairy tale-esque. This is Taima Kyoku, like weed border. Wow, it is about weed. Sweet. Just think to puff with Otomo. Wouldn't that be a trip? I mean, it was late 70s, early 80s. We're getting a lot more art, a lot more lines, a lot more drawing, less negative space in Fireball than we saw in Jusei. Kazoku is in... What is Kazoku in? Is it in Short Piece? God, I want to walk right over here and grab one off the shelf. It's the first story. Kazoku means family. Family goes off to a resort to commit suicide, but they fail. Very dark story. Especially for an opening story in a tankobon. Amazing. I wonder if these are redraws or if these are originals. Because Otomo is famous for doing redraws of anything that he feels is not up to his standards. Look at this. Wow. Murder was the case. Katsudon. I like me some katsudon. Maybe not on a human head, or as a human head with eyeballs in it, but tonkatsu on rice with egg. I'll take that any day. I mean, I'm just loving these splash pages. They're sick. Ooh, there we go. Now we're talking. Fireball, our cover story. I mean, a lot of influence from the Ampo riots. I always get the date wrong. 78, 79, 76. But everyone growing up in that time was heavily influenced by the whole student movement, the situation at the time. And it reflects a lot in Otomo's early works. I mean, even his later works, when you look at Akira is really about, a dystopian future. Neo-Tokyo. There's student protests. There's terrorism. There's bombings. There's religious cults. There's oppressive government. There's all these things that everyone was afraid of during the Ampo riots of the late 70s. Ah, look at that. Now we're seeing some traces of something that you all know. A little foreshadowing of what's to come. And there we go. I mean, like, you get a big 2-page spread like this. This has Akira written all over it. Hair. And I'll let you guys, gals, all my friends out there, all my friends, enjoy these how you would like to enjoy them. I'm looking forward to sit down and dig through, especially these final, like the Watari references. Like, why is Watari referenced here? You know, like Shirato Sanpei, you know, like, or these films, like, why are they being referenced? I got to read this to find out more. I'm so curious as to what were the inspirations behind his early works. And that, my fine friends, is Otomo The Complete Works 5, Fireball, and of course The Complete Works 1, Jusei, Gun Report. And thank you for being here with me, my friends. Of course, I slang books over at japanbookhunter.com and Japan Book Hunter on Instagram. You want to buy some wild, rad books? Come hit me up, my friends. I'm always slanging. And yes, I haven't put out a full-length video for a while. Yes, I'm planning to do it. Yes, there's 3 buildings being torn down around my office at the moment for the last 2 months. And it is loud as hell all day. And that is only an excuse. It's just an excuse. I just need to sit down and do it. I have so much content that I've recorded, but I just need to sit down and edit it and put it together and throw it out there for you guys, which I'm going to be working on here over the rest of this month. And until next time, my fine friends, mata ne.